So still on subqueries, and we're going to be talking about subqueries um, used in a where clause. So let's go to pgadmin, and I already prepared this. So I have a challenge for us, and in this challenge, we want to find out the list of all pizzas that have a higher price than the average pizza price. So what we want is we want all the pizzas that are more expensive than average, really. So we the first thing to do is to find the average pizza price. What is the average pizza price? And we can now select all pizzas that have prices higher than that average pizza price. So one way to do this will be to first find the average pizza price and say select from pizzas. It's in the pizza table, pizzas, and I want the average price. So average price, right? And when we run this, we have 16.440 and so on and so forth. Now, one way to find all pizza prices that have that are more expensive than average would be to copy this value, right? And let me just say it's 16 point approximately 16.44, right? And I can say, so let me just move this down. I can say select from pizzas where price is greater than, now what's the average? 16.44, right? And I can select star. Let's say select star, or let's select pizza ID and price. Pizza ID and price. So I just want the pizza ID and the price. And if I run this, it's going to give me every pizza ID and price where the price is higher than 16.44, which is the average price. So let's run this. So we have this, right? And this answers our question, really. It does. It answers our question. We have um 47 pizza IDs that are more expensive than the average. The average being 16.44. But let's think about something. What if the table changes and or the table is updated daily? What if the table is updated from time to time? Now, if the table is updated from time to time, 16.44 would no longer be the average. So if we put in 16.44, after a while, 16.44 will no longer be the average because the table has been updated. And then the query will be all wrong because we would have some pizza IDs that are either more expensive than the real average or cheaper than the real average in our query. So what can we do? This is where we use a subquery. So instead of putting 16.44 here, I could put in the query that produces this average as a subquery. So I could just delete this and say where price is greater than, and then I just copy that query and paste it here in my subquery bracket. So I could just make it on the same line just so it's neat. Just bring it on the same line just for neatness. So I could say where price is greater than this query. So this is the query that gives us 16.44. But now in this case, if that table is updated, this query will always give us the most updated average value. So that way you don't have to worry whether the table is updated or reduced or something happened to the table. It will always give us the up-to-date result. So we can run this now as a subquery. So now we can see that we have the same result, same number of 47 result as we had when we had 16.44. But this is much more better and safer because we are looking into the future and saying, okay, the table might change and then 16.44 might no longer be the average. So it's better to put in that code than to put in the actual value. Now, there's something I would like to talk about that still has to do with writing subqueries in the where clause, and this is called the in operator. In operator. So sometimes when we are writing subqueries in the where clause, or even when we are using the where clause generally, we can use the in operator in with normal where clause filtering, right? So how do we use the in operator with normal where clause filtering? So say for example, I just want details of, I have a list of pizza IDs that I'm interested in finding their details, right? So I'm not really doing anything. So I want to find, I want to say select from pizzas, right? Pizzas. I want to select everything from pizzas where, because I'm interested in just about 3 pizza IDs, right? Let me just move this up. I'm interested in about 3 pizza IDs. So I could say where pizza IDs, pizza ID. I could use pizza ID equal to and then put in maybe copy. Maybe I'm interested in this BBQ CKN and M, and I could use an or function and say or pizza. But this is longer, right? Like the pizza ID equals to CALI CKN and L. This is longer. I could just use the in operator, right? So I could just say where pizza ID in, this is an operator, and I open a bracket, and in that bracket I put in the list of whatever it is I'm interested in. So let's say I'm interested in CKN, which is a pizza type, is this guy here, CKN pesto M. I'm interested in that, comma. I'm also interested in CALI Alfredo M. So let's say I'm interested in those two, right? I could just put it in my, so if I have a lot, I could just still put it in the bracket, as long as to look for, to find all the details for everything in that bracket, right? So if I run this, so we have our result here, but something is weird. Must have gotten one of the spellings wrong. We just have that for CKN pesto M. So let's check again and be sure that I got that spelling correct. So it was CKN Alfredo M. CKN. Oh, it wasn't Kali Alfredo, it was CKN Alfredo. So I made a mistake. So if you make a mistake in that, it's not going to give you the result. So it was CKN Alfredo M. And let's run that again. And we have both results. So anything in this bracket, I can just filter a table using the in operator and put what I want to see in that bracket. Now, how do we use the in operator in subqueries? So what if we have a challenge? What if I give a challenge? I want us to practicalize using an in operator in a subquery. So what if I give a challenge and said we should find the pizza ID and pizza ID and price for all pizzas that sold more than 3 quantity. So this is a challenge. Now, we can easily find pizza ID and price from the pizzas table, but how do we know which one has sold more than 3 quantity? And we can, what table can we find quantity? And I think we can find quantity in order details. If I check the column for order details, we can find quantity, right? So let's check what is in order details. So let me say select star from order details, which is another table, order details. Now I'm interested in those that have sold more than 3 quantities, right? So where quantity is greater than 3, right? This is what my subquery look like. So let's run this. Where quantity is greater than 3. And I have 3 of those 3 columns where I sold more than 3 quantity, right? I sold one big meat S and I sold 4. Sold another big meat S, still the same big meat S, and I sold 4. And I sold Kali, CKN, and I sold 4. So those are more than 3. So I'm just interested in their pizza ID, right? I'm just interested in their ID. So what I'm going to do is select pizza ID. Right, so it's just going to give me their pizza. I'm not interested in their quantity. I've used this to filter the quantity. Right, so if I run this, oh sorry, if I run this, it's just going to give me the pizza ID, big meat S and CKN. Now, you can see there is a repetition, big meat S, because there are different orders, right? So somebody came, ordered big meat S, ordered 4. Another person came, ordered the same big meat S, ordered 4. So there are different orders. But now, since I'm just interested in their names, I want to know which pizza has sold more than 3 quantity. It should be big meat S and Kali CKN, right? So I can do a distinct. There's something called a distinct that allows us just pick one occurrence of each of the values, right? So if I put a distinct here, distinct, and my code becomes select distinct pizza ID from order details where quantity is greater than 3. So it's going to pick, as long as the thing appears once, it's going to pick it once. So if it appears 5 times, it's going to pick it once. If it appears 2 times, it's going to just pick it once. So if I run this now, you can see now, even though big meat S appears 2 times, it just picks one occurrence of it. Now, these are the 2 pizza IDs that have sold more than 3 quantity, right? But now we want to know their pizza ID and their price, right? So I can say, let's push this down. I can say select from pizzas table, because that's is in the pizzas table. I'm going to find pizza ID and price. Select from pizzas. From what do I want to select from pizzas? I want to select pizza ID, comma, and price. Right, from pizzas, but not everything. I don't want to select all the pizza ID and all the price. I want to select it where pizza ID. Now I can't say equal to, but I can say where pizza ID in, and I create my subquery. So where pizza ID in, and this will be my subquery here. I just copy it. So remember, the result of this is these 2 pizza IDs, right? So instead of typing it out, I could just come and type it out and say where pizza ID in big meats, big underscore meats underscore S. I could just type it out. But what if it changes, like I said earlier? What if it changes? So I'll just copy that query out and say where I copy this and I paste this here, right? I always like my subqueries being on the same line, just so easy mates. So select, just pressing backspace just to move it to the upper line. Pressing backspace on my computer to move it. So yeah, and I can remove this now. Let me remove this. I can remove this. I could just comment it out by pressing Ctrl and forward slash. Now, if I run this, remember the result of the inner query is big and ckn, right? If I run this, we can see we now have the pizza ID and the price for both pizza IDs that have sold more than 3 quantities. Now that's how to use the in operator in a subquery. So we've talked about the 3 scenarios where we can use the subqueries. We talked about subqueries in the from, in the select statement, after the from keyword, and in the where clause for filtering. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the any and the all operators. Stay tuned and see you then.